About Everything Interview Series, Episode 4. Today, we'll be talking with a change maker, a woman from multiple backgrounds. Yes, Kateisha Allen, Prime Minister Youth Awardee of Excellence. Let's go! So we're here with Miss Kateisha Allen, Prime Minister Youth Awardee for Excellence. Now, they don't just give out such an award to any and everybody, right? Such an award has to be earned. You have to provide the proper documentation to prove yourself worthy. Let's welcome to the Aldon About Everything Interview Series, Miss Kateisha Allen.
Thank you for having me.
It is a pleasure to have you. So we want to know where all this started. Tell us how you got to be the change maker that you are today.
So first of all, I was born in St. James. I am a homeborn. So I was born at home.
Yeah.
I left St. James at about 9 years old. I came to live in St. Elizabeth. So I'm still in St. Elizabeth.
Who you came to live in St. Elizabeth with?
With some cousins.
Okay.
Yeah, came to live with cousins in St. Elizabeth.
All right. So why your parents had you moved from St. James?
Well, my father passed when I was about 2 years old. And my mother, she has 7 children. So life was a bit difficult for her. So she wanted better for her. So she decided to send away the girls. So my mother had to have 3 girls and 4 boys. So what she does, she give away all the girls. So she sent all the girls away.
I could imagine that would be a hard decision for a mother to make.
Yes, I think so. But I think she wanted the best for us. So that's why she made that decision. So that's how I reached to St. Elizabeth.
So you got to St. Elizabeth. Where in St. Elizabeth exactly?
Middle quarters, to be exact.
Middle quarters, shrimp country.
Yes.
All right. So you got to St. Elizabeth and you started primary school. Tell us about that.
Right. So I attended the middle quarters all-age school. Right. So I started there.
At what age? Yeah.
It was 9 years old. So I started at grade 4. Right.
So you were the new girl in school.
Oh yes.
How was that for you, moving from St. James, new environment, going into this new space? How was that?
Yeah, it was kind of difficult to fit in because, you're away from mom now. Knowing that you spent all that time with mom and now you're away in a strange place. So it was difficult, but I think I got through.
All right. So, were you involved in anything throughout your primary school life?
I used to do a lot of running.
You did running?
Oh, yes.
You was a tracks girl?
Yes.
Which
so I
event?
got involved in, I remember I used to do cross country. So I used to run from the middle quarter school all the way around the square and back. I also did 1500 meter.
So you used to win?
Oh, yes. I got a lot of medals.
Interesting.
I have a lot of medals.
Interesting.
Yes.
All right. So you went into sports throughout your primary school life. How was the educational part of it? Did you struggle
good.
with your education? It was good
I
grades?
didn't. Yes, I had good grades because, I did my GSAT and I passed for the Black River High School.
So you went to Black River High School.
Right.
And, you spent your time there. How was that?
It was good. I spent a good 5 years at Black River High School. I didn't move on to sixth form. So doing that transition now from primary to Black River High School. At Black River High School, I didn't take life that seriously because I used to play around with friends. So you didn't have that maturity to know, hey, this is what you want.
So what about the home life in terms of, because, where there's the friends leading astray if you're a bit in high school, there's always that person at home to keep you grounded.
All right. So after coming from St. James to middle quarters in St. Elizabeth, I made another transition. So I moved from middle quarters now to Spring Park. So Spring Park is a district in Black River. So making that transition was a bit difficult as well because I was leaving from my cousin here, going to total strangers. So you're going to live with persons you don't know.
Why was that? Why was that? Why?
All right, so in middle quarters, I live with my cousin, as I said, and her family. So they were not my family, they were her family. So then bad treatment started. So I remember the person that took me from there, now I call her grandma, because when I went to her, all her grandkids would say grandmother. So I just adapted the principle, and trust me, she treated me like a granddaughter.
When you say bad treatment, sometimes, we misunderstand these words.
All right, so when I live with my cousin, remember I'm a total stranger. So I was the girl that had to do everything.
The
I had to,
Cinderella of the house.
yes.
All right, and that took a toll in terms of coming home, getting the schoolwork done, and
Oh, definitely.
yeah. So, how did those persons, grandma, anyway you're there, big up yourself, right? So, how did grandma get into your life?
All right, so she was working at the house in middle quarters. So she was working there, and she realized what the situation was. And she decided she's going to take me.
She working there as a maid, what?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. So she
And
was taking care of those persons because they were elderly.
oh, okay.
Right,
And she realized the situation and
right,
decided she's going to take you under her wing.
right.
And what was that transition like?
As I said, it was going to be with strangers you don't know anything about, but definitely I felt at home. I felt love. I felt I was in a new family. So that living condition improved my life a bit. Yes.
How did that affect your schooling? Because by then you were at the Black River High School.
Right. I was at the Black River High
So
School.
did that create an improvement in how your attitude towards school was impacted?
Yes, definitely, because my grandmother, she's a strict person. She's a no-nonsense person. So I had to take my schoolwork seriously. But the idle part came when I was at school. So I was always outside. I was an obedient child, but I didn't take my schoolwork seriously as I should.
And you would have seen some of the effects of that.
Oh, definitely. So it was CXC time, I remember doing my CXCs. So I think I did 4 CXC at Black River High School. I got 3 out of the 4, which wasn't bad. But then after you leave in school, that's when you realize that you wanted them. So I had to start working, going on my own to get these done.
All right. So, all right. We saw the movement from St. James. We understand, some of the situations that would have caused you to start to develop your way of thinking. And we saw where you get into a comfort space and still go on some foolishness in a high school. And as a result, you were recommended for only 4 subjects.
Right.
And knowing that, you could have been recommended for more if you would have, taken that far seriously.
Definitely.
But then here you are, out of high school. You started working, where you got your first job.
All right, so my first job was at Hodges Aggregates. Yes, so I did my first job there. I spent 3 to 4 years there. Yeah.
And what was your role at that space?
All right, so at that time I went there as a store clerk, and then I moved to the office clerk.
Okay, so you went from one level to the next.
Right.
All right. So, fine. You are indeed a change maker.
Definitely.
How did all your life lessons, the things that people that have ill-treated you, right, and the people who came into your life and showed you love, how did that affect you deciding, say, here's what, I want to impact the life of somebody else, right? I want to not allow my circumstances to be the, the means by which I will not achieve the things I set for myself. Because here you are, Prime Minister Youth Awardee, president for your community development club, that's what it's called.
Yes, Community
And
Development Committee.
committee, yes. And you're a part of something else. Tell me.
I'm the brand ambassador for Newport First and Jamaica. I am the PRO for the Holland Youth Group. So that's a farming group.
Yeah. So tell me how you got into farming.
Oh, so it was 2016 after giving birth to my child. It gave me a different feeling. So I wanted to stay home. I wanted to nurture my child because I know what it felt not to have that motherly love growing up. So I wanted to give that special love to my child. So I decided.
How old were you at 2016?
22 years old.
22 years old. And you're living on your own by then?
Yes.
So, living on your own with your boyfriend or your husband?
Yes.
Okay. And now you're pregnant. What were some of the things going through your mind at that point?
So when I found out I was pregnant, I was overjoyed. It was a good feeling. Feeling that I want to be there for my child. I want to be the best mom in the world for my child. So giving birth to my child, I decided I want to be a stay-home mom. I want to be there for him every step of the way. But in my head, I just didn't want to stay home not doing anything. I wanted to be independent. So that's when I get into agriculture. So I just farm a piece of land. It was about 2 square. And I planted pumpkin. Didn't know anything about
For the
farming.
persons out there who don't understand what 2 square means, please explain.
All right, so an acre of land is 10 squares. So 2 sections out of that 10 is a square.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's not a big piece of land. Yeah. So when I planted the pumpkin, I didn't know anything about agriculture. And the yield that I received from that pumpkin that I was able to sell to the Black River Hospital over £1,000. So that gave me that joy and eagerness to get into agriculture full time.
And tell us more about how you got into it, you know. How you move into it further.
All right, so I met with this gentleman. He's from Newport First and Jamaica. So he introduced me when he see what I was doing. He says, you need to take this seriously and you need to take it to another level. So that's when I got serious. I went and I get my ID, or rather. So I'm now a registered farmer. So I started to do other crops. So along with pumpkin, I started to do pineapples. When it's the season for sorrel, I started to plant sorrels.
Switch it up based on all the season.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. And then it was 2018, I get serious into the bees. So for 4 years, I have this one hive of bees. It was caught in a rooftop. And I have it. But guess what? I didn't know anything about bees. But I just
But
love the
what
fun of
caused
it.
you to go take up a hive of bees from a rooftop? You went
Well,
and get it.
no.
Okay.
Somebody get it and they gave it to me. And I have it for years. Somebody used to harvest the honey for me. And it was one particular year from that one hive, I got 21 quart. So if anybody don't know what is a quart is, this is a quart. So I got 21 of these. At the time, a quart was being sold for $2,000. So when I checked that 21 times 2,000, I say, hey, this can be a business. And when you link the bees with the farm, it is more beneficial.
How so?
Because the bees is very good for the environment. So especially when you plant stuff, the bees does the pollination. And when the bees does the pollination, you yield more. Yeah, so I just started to I wanted to learn more about the bees. I was eager to learn more. So one day I went to my rod. I heard there was a bees training there. And I went there and I got in contact with the bees officer. And it all started there. I didn't miss a training. So I left all the way from St. Elizabeth to Negril just to learn about the bees.
And
So at the time I had one, and today I have over 130. So from 2018 to 2022, I have over 130 hives.
how you got the hives to grow so?
All right, so I had the one, wanted to learn more, wanted to get more. So I got some assistant as well. So I got the assistant from Food for the Poor Jamaica. So they gave me 10 hives. And from that 11 now, I started to grow.
So you researched what are the means, are the ways through the government that you can get.
Right.
Okay. So you know have 100 and what?
30.
130.
Well, it's over 130.
Over 130 hives. I mean, say
Right.
the last time you check, it's over 130.
Yes.
Yeah. Now you say you're the PRO for the Holland
Young Farmer Group.
Young Farmer Group.
Right.
Now, I can imagine that, you know, there are many young farmers who want to go into bees, right? Because having 130 odd
Yeah.
boxes, you know, you're more of a bee farmer than you're a pumpkin, a pine,
Yeah.
a farmer.
Yes.
There should be a lot of times when young persons come to you asking for advice.
Oh, yes. A lot of times.
Yeah. How do you help them?
All right. So the advice I would give to young persons when they came to me, I said, okay, if you love something and want to get involved, go for it. So don't feel daunted not to go for it. You should make it dream. So you should dream about it. So one of the encouragement I also give to farmers is get involved with the 4-H club. So the 4-H club helps a lot of persons. For me personally, I am certified in many different areas through the 4-H club. So I have a crop cultivation certificate, I have a bees certificate, I have a farm supervisor certificate. So training is available, and especially with the bees, it is very easy to learn. So if you are really interested in it, you should seek the necessary help because help is available. I myself is available because I lend myself to a lot of persons. Actually go to their apiaries, go to their farms and see what is happening there, and I can give solid advice to these persons.
So you basically help them to start
Yes.
through understanding the process,
Yes.
understanding the spaces that they can go and get training,
Right.
and you know to help them in terms of advising,
Yes.
in you know going to their spaces and see how it is going and advise how to move forward.
Yes, definitely.
They're appreciative of that, yeah.
Oh, very much. So I have this young girl. She's a friend of mine. She always admired me going into the bees, so she wants to get involved in the bees. And it is not very easy to start into the bees. It can be expensive. So I said, okay, she's very interested. What I'm going to do, I'm going to give her a hive of bees. So I started her with one hive of bees about 2 years ago. And today she's at 6, which is very good because it's not that easy to grow. And to see her blossom from 1 to 6, it is really good, and it makes me feel good to see that she's under my wings and she's growing, which is very good.
The CDC, what
Yes.
caused you to go into that?
All right, going to the CDC, I'm a people person. So my love for people is always there, especially young persons. So I don't like to see young persons sitting around doing nothing. So get involved in the CDC now helps me to get to more persons in the community, to reach more persons, so we can have community functions and the community will grow because I'll be there to push persons in the right direction to say, hey, this is what we want as a community, the goals we want to achieve and how we can achieve them.
Do you see yourself as a beacon of change?
Definitely, definitely. Persons from all over the country, even all over the world, call me and ask me for advice. I remember this girl, she's from St. Mary. She called me and she was literally crying. She said she just got stung by the bees and she's going to kick over the boxes. And I said, no, that's okay. And then I even relate a story to her. When I was in the bees, I got stung over 50 times in one day.
How old per time now?
Yes, I literally had to run and I drop on the ground and I roll and they still stung me. I had to run again. But I tell her that didn't hinder me from continuing. What that does really, it motivates me to continue.
50 times.
Yep, 50 times.
I get stung by bees one time and see my finger swell up and that's it. And you got stung 50 times.
Yep.
You had to go to the doctor?
No, I didn't go to the doctor. All I did was just take an allergy pill, and I was good again.
All right, all right, all right. So one box gave you what, 21
Quartz,
quarts,
right,
and you now have 130 something boxes.
right.
A whole heap, a whole heap, a whole heap of quarts that.
Definitely.
That's,
Well, it's moved from quart to drum.
well, there you go. That's, I would say 21 times 130 at,
Yep.
yeah, at $2,000 a bottle.
Yes,
You're taking care of yourself
definitely.
independently. Fantastic. You know, what caused you to, put yourself out there to be, you are recommended or you applied for the Prime Minister Youth Award for Excellence?
All right, so the Prime Minister Youth Award for Excellence, I was approached by the parish manager of the 4-H club because I am a part of the 4-H club. So I entered a competition in 2021. So that's the youth farmer competition where I was victorious. So I also entered that competition at the national level.
Hold on, hold on, hold on. How you got into the 4-H club? At what point?
All right, so it was 2 years ago. I was contacted by the 4-H club. So they got in contact with me and they want involvement with me in the 4-H club.
So they heard that you're
Yes.
doing the bees
Yes, and the farming.
and the farming.
Right.
And they wanted to,
Yes, to
get
nurture.
interesting. Okay.
Yes. So 2021, I was a part of the 4-H club.
During
So,
COVID?
oh yeah. So they had a virtual competition for youth farmer. So I entered that competition and I was placed first. So that competition now going to the national level.
What was the competition like?
All right, so what you had to do was to make a 5-minute video, whether it was on your farm or in your apiary, in the bees. So my video was in the bees. So I was just giving some knowledge of the bees, exploring the
Okay.
queen, sharing the queen, what the hive was about and all of that. So it was very informative information. Yeah,
And you won.
right,
So it is the parish manager, yeah,
right, for 4-H.
for 4-H who had recommended you for the Prime Minister Youth Award
Right, so
for
she
Excellence.
nominated me.
Yes. So what did she see in you?
Well, trust me, she said everything because she believed in me. So even at one point she called and said, it's 2 days for the ending of the nomination. I was like, I'm not ready. I don't think I can do it this year. Maybe next year because I'm
You're shy.
young. Yes,
A
very,
lot of people don't know that you're a very shy woman,
very, very shy.
We start this video like 2 times. Yeah?
Yeah,
Yeah?
yeah,
And throughout your primary school time, you're known to be very shy.
very shy. Yes,
But despite that, your confidence in what you do is very tall.
yes.
All right. So she told her that it's only 2 days remaining.
And I said, I'm not going to make it. I don't have all the documents ready and all of that. And she said, listen to me. Today you come into my office and we're going to get it done. And I remember I went to her office that day. And it was from there that I gathered all of the necessary things that is needed. I had to went back the other day to finalize stuff. And then she just pushed through everything. And it all started there.
So what were some of the documentations you had to get?
Well, some of the things that you needed, you must be involved in your community. So it takes community involvement. You must be doing good work. So you must be inspiring to other persons. So that are some of the things that were required.
All right. So you sent the documentations in. You were called for an interview.
Yes.
And you blew them away.
Oh, yeah.
Tell us about the interview, yeah.
So the persons that came, well, I did a first interview virtually. And it was all about the involvement in your community, how you want to see your country grow, and how I am changing, being a game changer for the youths. So I did that first interview. Then there was a second interview where they literally came on your farm, an interview on your farm.
So that they come and see it for themselves.
Yes.
I think when you told them that you had 130 odd boxes, they just wanted to make sure for themselves. I mean, I would like to see that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you got that award. How did
Yes.
it make you feel?
Oh, I feel like I was over the moon. It is a great feeling. I feel honored, I feel special, I feel accomplished. So it just shows that the hard work is paying off. Yeah.
What would you say to the young mother out there who believes that she did not do so well in high school in the traditional forms of education, that she want to give up? What would you say to that young mother out there?
So one thing I always tell myself, giving up is not an option. So never, doesn't matter what the challenges are, I've never said to myself, I am giving up. It is always for me, I'm going to jump this barrier. If I can't jump it, I'm going to crawl under it. If I can't crawl under it, I'm going to walk around it. So for me, it is always pushing forward. I always tell my son, he's 5 years old and he's very smart. I always tell him, the sky is not the limit. The sky and beyond is the limit. So I always encourage him to go to school and do his best. So what encouragement I would have for young females especially, if you didn't do well in high school, that's not the end of your life. It's just the beginning. Because as I said, I leave high school with 3 subjects. Now I have 7 subjects. And I have a child, and that did not hinder me from reaching where I want to be. Once you're serious, what you need to do is set goals. And what to do is write them down. And so I achieve them, I tick them off. And especially for agriculture, when more females get into agriculture, I think it's better off, not only for yourself, for your community, for the country, because what it does, I realize these days females are more serious and do serious business more than males. Oh, definitely, yeah. So for me personally, my business is everything. So every dollar comes in, I have to record it. Everything I spent, it must be recorded. And everything is detailed. So when a female gets into business and it is detailed, you can track everything. It makes you successful. So as I said, giving up is not an option. And a lot of persons think farming is for uneducated person. That's not true. Because right now, farming can take anyone a far way, because the yield you receive from one crop, a 9 to 5 cannot pay you that. And you have catch crops, so you have a crop for 3 months. The yield you earn the money you earn from that yield, it's what you will work for
Irish
years.
potato.
Definitely.
Yeah, man. Sweet pepper.
Sweet potato. So recently I was contacted, I want 3,000 pounds of sweet potato. So can you imagine you going to your field and harvest 3,000 pounds at $100 a pound? Sweet potatoes take 3 months. And you can get over 10,000 pounds per acre. So think about that and do the maths.
Well, Miss Kateisha Allen, you are indeed a change maker, worthy of the Prime Minister Youth Award for Excellence. It is a pleasure having you on our show. It is a pleasure hearing your story, and trust me, I know this will inspire many, many, many females as well as young males out there. Yeah. So, let's go!